Hello guys, welcome to FM Tech, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Moto G73, a budget offering from Motorola, and let's check if it's worth it under 16,000 rupees. First of all, let's check out the box of the phone. As you can see, the Motorola G73 is a 5G phone with Dimensity 930 processor and 120Hz LCD display. The Dimensity 930 is similar or a slight better in performance compared to the Snapdragon 695 processor. And in the box you get a 30-watt PD charger, which is C2C in nature, which is very rare in this price segment. You also get a basic silicone case which becomes yellow, but it's nice to have for the time being. You also get a C2C cable, so you don't have to buy another cable. Now let's check out the phone. The phone is made up of plastic and the frame is also plastic. Even though it's plastic, it does feel sturdy in the hand and it will be durable since it's plastic and it will not crack. The main camera is of 50 megapixel and the wide angle camera is 8 megapixel. Since the phone's back is curved, it is pretty good in hand feel. The phone has an IPS LCD 120Hz display on the front and it does run pretty smooth, and it also gets pretty bright indoors. Now let's talk about 5G. The phone gets 16 5G bands and it is more than enough for any carrier in India. It also gets NFC, which is unheard of in this price range. The display, even though it's LCD, it's a good color accurate display and it does provide a good viewing experience for media. The phone has 8GB of RAM, 128GB of internal and full HD display on the front. It also gets dual SIM support, which is hybrid in nature. You also get a headphone jack and Dolby Atmos support on the top, and on the phone we have a noise cancellation microphone and a Dolby Atmos branding. You also get a USB 2 port and a headphone jack as well as a speaker. You get dual speakers and it does provide a good hearing experience. You get a SIM slot on the left and a side mounted fingerprint sensor on the right and a power button on the right, which is embedded in the fingerprint button. As you can see, it runs Moto UI, which is pretty awesome and pretty smooth, and it does not feel like a 16K phone in this price range. As you can see, since it combines with 120Hz and stock Android, it's just a mini pixel experience on your phone. Now let's talk about the display of the phone. The display is a LCD display which goes up to 600 nits max, and it's a pretty average display. If you are a casual user which uses phone indoors mostly, you won't have an issue with this. But if you use your phone outdoors, you may want to look elsewhere, as you can barely make out details in outdoors, and the display is average in that sense. And it's also average in the fact that it has slower response times compared to other phones with other displays. If you want a great display, you should look at AMOLED displays like the Motorola G84 or Edge 30 Neo, but you would have to extend a budget. If you are fine with LCD, you can go here. Now let's move on to the main selling point of this phone, the software. The software is pretty amazing and it has all the bells and whistles you would ever need. As you can see, it comes with Moto Launcher by default, which has grid options, tile options and other options such as number of apples and multi-line app icons. You can also enable themed icons from the settings, and it's a very feature-packed launcher. As you can see, you get the usual Moto Peak display as well as a side mounted fingerprint sensor, which is pretty fast and accurate. As you can see, it does not come with many bloatwares on this phone. You also get a Google Now page on the left, which does provide a pixel-like feel, and the quick settings is just stock Android with that sperm media animation. The phone comes with Android 13 out of the box, and it has only one promised OS update, that is Android 14, which has already been released. That's a sad part of Motorola phones, and their software support is pretty bad. But you do get bi-monthly updates till 2 or 3 years. But Moto is not great in keeping updates promise. As you can see, it has all the Motorola features such as gestures, motor space, privacy guard, everything. And thus the usual Moto gestures such as chop chop for the torch and twist for front camera or back camera. Now let's check out Moto Secure. Moto Secure is a feature that was introduced in Android 13, and it's just like the Knox Secure folder in Samsung phones. You can have dual apps and many files stored in this, and it's like a second user space from which you can do everything. You also have game mode, which is essential for today's generation, as it allows us to focus on gaming. You can lock gestures and lock the brightness level when gaming, so it does not annoy you. You also get floating animations, which are nice. As you can see, the app opening speeds are pretty fast for a 16,000 rupees phone, and it's unbelievable that we have been sensitized to bloaty and slow voice like One UI on budget devices and ColorOS. As you can see, a simple stock Android will do the job if you want to get a job done in a simple way with no hassle. You also do get custom ROM features such as double tap to sleep, double tap to wake, and you can also back tap 2 times to open a specific app or a specific action. As you can see, I am not opening myself, I'm just doing the gesture and showing you guys the feature. You also get this on iPhones as well as Pixels, which is amazing to have in this price range. To say Moto UI is bloat free would be a lie, because it does have bundled Moto notifications, Facebook, LinkedIn, and apps like that. Now let's check out the 5G speeds of the phone. I usually get 600 Mbps on Snapdragon 8 Gen series phones. I don't know why, if it's because it's afternoon and everyone is using Wi-Fi or 5G. It's average speeds, but I did get great speeds some days earlier. I don't know if it's due to an update or as such. Now I have connected Wi-Fi and I'll show the speeds. There are about 6 people connected with this 200 Mbps Wi-Fi, and I do think it's average speed on here as well. I'll try connecting to the 5 GHz Wi-Fi and we'll see how the test goes. As you can see, the speeds did increase, but it's good. It's the expected speeds. Another thing that I would like to point out to you is that it does have a VoNR issue. I don't know if it's a carrier issue or a phone issue. I don't get VoNR calls through 5G. The calls do drop down to 4G when calling, and it does not call through 5G network. That's the sad part. I'll just show you what is happening. As you can see, the phone will switch to 4G when calling. So that means VoNR ain't working. And it will stay at 4G for some time, and it does not switch back. It will always switch back after 10 or 20 minutes or so. That should be fixed via software update, and I think so they would fix it in one of the bi-monthly updates that we get. Now let's check out the performance of the phone. I did run a throttle test and it was pretty stable, and it also is capable of gaming. But for 4K video editing, I won't recommend this as the GPU is not great on this phone. And it also has an average storage speed, UFS 3.2. As you can see, the throttle test is pretty stable on this phone even with Wi-Fi. I also did some gaming eFootball 2024, which is based on Unreal Engine 4, which is a heavy game. It does run pretty butter smooth as all phones like 8 Gen phones. I don't know if it's due to the optimization or the game being light. I don't think it's light since it does have bokeh blur in high settings, but I'm in standard settings and 60 fps. So you can see it's pretty smooth, and if you don't like gaming part, you can skip it. I would not recommend you watch my shitty gameplay. Now let's move on to BGMI, as it's everyone's favorite game. I don't play much, so I'm not a pro. I'll just be showing you the performance of the phone. As you can see, the maximum FPS you can get is ultra in smooth settings and in balanced also. I'll be playing in HD max frame rate. As you can see, it's butter smooth. As you can see, no frame drops are experienced. I think it can go more than that. The ultra frame rate, it can go to 60 fps, but I don't know if it's the developers that have not added it. I guess it's a powerful phone for gaming as well in this price range. I always thought that MediaTek phones are in for gaming, but I am convinced that it is. In under 20k price segment, you should only look at MediaTek phones since they provide the best bang for the buck. As you can see, it is rendering pretty heavy graphics and it also looks good. The shadows and details are pretty nice, and you also get smooth frame rate, which is a great experience. I was pretty much amazed by the performance of this phone. Even though it does lag in heavy tasks such as using many chrome tabs and many apps at once, but in gaming it does perform like a champ. So if you're a college student or a guy struggling to have money, you can buy this phone and play games with no issues, and you also get a game mode which will help you in the gaming process. As you can see, you can also turn on high performance mode and lock gestures so that it doesn't interrupt you while gaming. You also get floating WhatsApp, floating Telegram like MIUI and other UIs.
Hey baby.
So now let's move on to the conclusion. In conclusion, the Moto G73 is a great phone if you get it under 15,000 rupees. It's a toned down version of the Motorola G54, and if you are able to get the G54, just go and get it. It's a better G73, and I think it's a better buy since it has 6000 mAh battery as well as OIS in the camera. Those are the only differences I saw, and as well as the design changes. But you also don't get a C to C charger in the G54. They only give a to C adapter. I don't know why they did that. They could have just popped this charger in there. You also get a great buy in getting the Edge 14 Neo since it has AMOLED and every features you would want in your phone. It also just looks so beautiful in this color, and it also gets some premium cases with it. So if you are looking to buy this phone under 15k, just go and get it, and I would recommend buying this even in 2023 mid. Thank you.